what's up? Figured I would talk a bit about my mapping Guardian build that I've been playing for the past week or so, and also discuss my overall strategy for how I play the Atlas and such. Because if you look at my Atlas, you would say, what the hell, everything is unlocked, and that is pretty much it. The only maps that I haven't actually done are the Grandmasters, Val Temple, Pewtered Cloister, and Twilight Temple maps. Because I don't really care enough to get them completed. So what I do essentially for leveling is I run as many red maps as I can, tier 15s or 14s mainly, until I get Elder Influence like this, and then I start killing off all the Guardians, and then I kill off the Elder Guardians, because when I kill these 4, I've already killed the Phoenix, as you can see, then Uber Elder will spawn. And when Uber Elder spawns, I log on my Golemancer and kill him with that one, and then I repeat the process. Could this character kill Uber Elder? Yeah, probably, but I don't want to risk it because I want to try to get level 100, so you lose too much XP by dying. This character is actually fairly budget. Like the items are fairly cheap this league, because Lowlife Righteous Fire isn't as popular as the Juggernaut Life variant. So I have a Shavs, like a 5-link would suffice as well. I run Righteous Fire in it because it's mainly for map clearing, not for the bosses. So my Scorching Ray is linked in my Dune. Aside from this, like, the strategy for this character is to stack as much mana and stats as possible, because both strength and mana all increases our energy shield. As you can see, I have 8.5k mana, which is quite a lot. I get this by using 4 of these Healthy Mind Jewels in places where there are some health nodes. So there's 1, 3, and 4. Which means that life nodes generally have some other effect, a bonus for us, are good enough to take. The Pantheon powers, standard Guardian really, the Harmony of Purpose and Prayer of Glory aren't very good, so we skip those. Besides the Healthy Mind Jewels, I also have 2 Abyss Jewels. Stats that I like are Int, Strength, Energy Shield and Mana, which both of these have. These are actually fairly hard to come by, so you might have to be on the lookout for those. And I have a Watcher's Eye Jewel as well. I've had this one from the start, and like the Vitality counterpart easily costs over 20 Exalts, but this one is available for like 1 or 2 Exalts, which makes it way more budget option. Besides that, we stack enough Aura effect on the tree to get our purities up to 83%, and then we also have 1% extra lightning and 1% extra fire from the passive tree. The rest of the gear is essentially, lots of stats mainly. Like Astramentus is great, Prism Guardian to preserve our auras and on our life. Use Memory Vault because it gives lots of mana, lots of energy shield, and lots of armor as well, which is really helpful. Like with 50k armor, like you'll see, I'll use shield shot in the packs, face tank them with my flasks up and just wait. It's really comfy way of mapping, and that's the goal of this character, to have an enjoyable character that won't die. It can level up to 100 essentially, and then at that point I might switch out some things to be a bit more boss killer oriented. Shaper's Touch, really good gloves. One of the cornerstones of this build, because it converts our mana to strength. It converts strength to mana, and mana is shield, which strength to shield directly, and so it just gives us lots of benefits. The enchant, essentially when we get crit, which happens now and then, we proc Sacred Ground, which is or Consecrated Ground, like it's life regen, always standing on it, which is really good. So it's very helpful for bosses and such. There's Sintrek with life regen enchant. It took a couple of Uber labs to get this one, but it's not too bad. It's fairly easy to farm. Like obviously I have a crappy helmet enchant because those are hard to farm and not that much for Uber lab. Chevron's wrappings, you all know what this does. Like as I said, a 5 link is fine as well. Like you would replace the Swift Affliction and Arcane Surge and instead take Efficacy, I don't know if I pronounced it right. Have an Opal Ring, just Strength, Int, ES, Mana, and then Lightning damage to help proc Elemental Equilibrium, which is quite helpful. And then I have a Unset Ring with +3 gems to also get 1 extra cold resist max from our Pure Device. If this was +2 gems, then I would have needed to have a level 21 Pure Device, which I am also leveling. So the belt, there are some differences here. Like I would say you should either use a Shaper belt or a Elder belt. I've opted for the Elder belt because I actually managed to craft a really solid one with an essence. Like I used an essence of Spite, which gave me the intellect. Obviously this one should be divine, but I haven't bothered really. But it gives lots of strength, lots of intelligence, and 9% attribute, which is really nice. It probably would be good to try and Exalt craft it as well, but I'm saving up for something else. But if you don't want to use one that gives flat attributes, you could go for one like this. This is another one that I've crafted that isn't finished, with Energy Shield recovery rate, which is, well, immensely helpful for this build. But yeah, ideally I would want Energy Shield recovery rate, intelligence and strength, but that seems very, 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 very hard to roll. So besides this Watcher's Eye, you can obviously get the one with added Energy Shield while using Clarity, but you would probably need to get more life regen somewhere because it really stings to lose this. So, but yeah, I think I'll just show a map while I do it. The way I sustain my maps, because I don't buy any maps, but I keep running, T16s all the time, and then I never run out this bike. I always run Harbinger. Like I leveled up Sena fairly early on in the league, just by doing all the dailies and all the wild Senas I found. I didn't really do any rotations. I did like two days of rotation from the last day. But I find that besides giving like really nice currency, I sell Ancient Orbs 3 for 1 Exalt every time, and you get them after a while. You get Annulment Orbs to sell really well, and Horizon Orbs and Orbs Binding that just helps you generally with your Atlas. But besides that, people never really mention, because everyone remembers Harbinger League was a great map sustaining league, is that the actual Harbinger packs seem to drop a lot of maps as well, because it's mainly, there's lots of blue and yellow mobs mixed in, so you get that, I think the majority of my T16 maps actually drop from the Harbinger packs themselves, which is really nice. Like this one dropped 2 Ancient Shards and 2 Harbinger Shards, which essentially paid for the mod itself already, which is quite lucky.
A moment of your time.
But, yeah. So I kill all the Guardians, the Elder Guardians as well, aside from the Phoenix one. I kill that one with my Golemancer because it's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit more sketchy. I did used to do it before, but it feels like it's a boss that can possibly kill you because it reduces your fire resistance and all, and you have to kind of pay attention to it, and that's not the way I want to play. I just want to, be able to play even if I'm tired and not lose XP. So, The other Guardians are pretty much face roll, you stand and tank them. The Eradicator is quite annoying, not because it's very hard or anything, but because you have to wait so long to actually DPS him. Because he does his, like, transforms into a little lightning ball, goes away, or he will cast something which you can't really face tank.
Great job, Exile. I now will take
But the normal Guardians are really easy, like the Shaper ones. Hydra, just stand next to her all the time. Chimera, well, same thing, he doesn't do any damage at all. Even when he's in the cloud, he doesn't really hit at all, just scratches you. The only scary part of that fight would be the mini boss in between the serpent. Because of that one, and largely because I don't like poison, because it's a DJ mechanic. I don't run a poison flask, but I do run anti-bleed. I run this Pantheon most of the time, solo Shakari, because it makes me immune to poison, which means I don't have to think about it. There are of course other options as well that are really solid, like you can use the Soul of Abra to make you take less damage while moving. Or you can use Soul of Tukahama if you like standing still, gives you some extra regen as well. I always use Soul of Arcali though, for the 5% reduced damage taken from damage over time. It's a very, very solid node. Figured I would end this video after killing Hydra. But so, to summarize a bit, I do all the maps on my Guardian to try and get as much XP as possible, and as soon as I spawn Uber Elder, I go and kill him on my Golemancer, and then, you know, get back at it. It's a very nice playstyle, honestly, and it gives some variation as well, because you have that awesome loot box coming up every now and then. For bosses I swap out my increased AoE gem to a conk effect just because it makes it go faster. But yeah, Hydra, you know, just stand next to her, put down Orb of Storms, and Scorching Ray, really. It's pretty damn simple. But as you can see, I mean, I don't really have that crazy super boss damage or anything, but I mean, that's fine. I don't really mind it. Boss dies and I'm safe, and that's what it's all about.
This is the key to a crucible that stretches the sanity of the mind.
So my current plans for this build is website flooding. I'm trying to get a jewel with both extra energy shield and recovery, but they're expensive, like 100 plus exalt, so that's what I'm saving up for essentially. Yeah, let's see. I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, I've been reading a bit of different, like, Lowlife threads, and I see, like, the guides that are on the forum right now seem to be a bit more, you know, geared towards standard, like, legacy shafts and shit.
Hello.
I want my guide to be a bit more directed towards actual leagues, because, well, not people that play standard. So,
welcome.
but there are some questions all the time. People ask, like, why do I have so low energy shield? Usually it's because you haven't leveled enough yet. Like, this build scales incredibly well with stats. Like, obviously the more int and stuff you have, the better, right? So, and the more mana you reserve, the more shield you get as well. So when you're at like level 70, yeah, you probably won't have, you know, almost 15k ES as I have, but I think I had at like 13k or so by level 88 maybe, so it ramps up fast, and you don't really need like mirror-worthy gear to get crazy numbers. Like this amulet is dirt cheap if you compare it to Presence of Chayula, but it gives me more shield as well, and it also gives me damage, because to me strength gives me damage because of this one. The 1% increased damage per 8 strength for the main hand, and of course it's Iron Will linked to the Dune, to the Scorching Ray, I mean. So, at any rate, yeah, I think this covers everything. If you have any questions, please ask them in the build guide on the forum that I'll post soon. Peace.